All right, so let's say you've chosen to do an ethnography. You want to explain the culture of a group. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 3 potential topical ideas. Say there's 3 students and they're in a group and they're all studying a different topic. And I'll kind of walk you through how their approaches could be different based on what they pick. So let's say one student is doing community relations with police officers. And then another student is doing school shootings. It's been an unfortunate topic in the news often lately. And then we'll say another student is doing the changes to parenting strategies because of new technologies. Okay? So let's say all 3 of these students choose to do an ethnographic approach. And let's assume that you've taken my previous advice and you're doing a comparative approach. So you have just 2 groups that you're comparing. So for the police example, you'd be looking for cultural values, right? So norms and behaviors. So you'd probably want to compare 2 distinct sets of police officers. My guess is you might want to show extreme opposites. Maybe find a community where there's it's wrought with tension between the citizens and the police. And then maybe another community where it's a really supportive environment between the citizens and the police. And you would go and interview officers and citizen members about just the relationship and why it is the way it is, things that have happened in the past, their feelings about it, and you'd look for patterns in their language, and then you'd compare the differences, right? And so that would be maybe a strategy to ethnographically get at the cultural dynamics between these different police and community groups. Then there's the student that is doing the school shootings. So maybe they would try to find a school that has experienced a shooting and a school that hasn't, that's similar in a lot of ways. And then you would talk to students and teachers and parents, and again, get at the cultural feelings, the meanings, the language, and talk about, are you scared to go to school? Do you feel safe here? Do you feel maybe there's preventative steps the school has taken, and some students may think that those steps have gone too far. Other people might think that they haven't gone far enough. Right? One school had made students wear clear backpacks, for example, so they could see if there was a weapon in it. And students were like, "What? Invasion of privacy? My backpack has to be clear." But these are examples of just cultural details. You'd look for the language. You'd look for the patterns of how maybe after a school shooting, people are more tolerant for more extreme precautions, or maybe not. So you would want to find groups where you could go and look at that. And then lastly, parenting and technology. You'd look for a couple of different parenting groups. Maybe parents who've chosen not to let their kids have cell phones and social media accounts until a certain age. I know there's definitely online movements of not giving kids phones until they're 10 or 12 or something. And then other parents who maybe they were born and raised by a tablet, basically. They've had the phones, they've had the media accounts, and they've just been immersed in it from a young age, and the parents are fine with it. Right? So you find these 2 groups of parents, ones that say, hey, it's not healthy to let our kids be exposed to these technologies, one that say, oh, come on, this is just the normal world, so let's all relax a little bit and go ahead and let them indulge. And you would just want to find out what is behind their thinking, and what are their family lives like, and what are the dynamics of the interactions between the parents and the kids. How do the kids feel about it? Are they upset? Are they fine with the parents' choice to give them or not give them technologies? How are their relationships with their peers in one group versus the other? Is it better? Is it worse as a result of having social media accounts? Maybe there's online bullying and it actually makes it worse. Or maybe if you don't have an account, you get left out of social functions. So again, I encourage you to do something comparative, but with the ethnographic approach, you're looking to explain norms, values, habits, language. And it's a lot easier to do when you're comparing 2 groups.